So on the other day, we have discussed the various steps that involved in the process of marketing research. Today, we are going to start with the one of that step that is basically part of marketing research. This is one and the most important steps to study research design. You have to determine your research design. Firstly, you have actually seen the need of your marketing research. You have defined your problem. You have established your research objective. The main and the most foremost step of your study is now determine the research design. See, there are a number of different types of research design available to you. You have to see which one is more appropriate for you. A research design is what basically? It is a set of advanced decisions that make up by the master plan specifying the methods and procedure for collecting and analyzing the needed information. What is research design? It is basically concerned with you have to actually create a master plan in which you have to specify the methods and procedure which you want to follow to collect your data, to analyze your data so that you can get the appropriate result as per the need of your research question. A research design is basically bifurcated into two. The one is exploratory research, the other one is conclusive research. Exploratory research is basically concerned with where you explore the new ideas. And the conclusive research is one where you actually conclude the things regarding you want to do or not. Exploratory research is further bifurcated into quantitative research and qualitative research, and conclusive research is further divided into descriptive research, causal research. Descriptive research further divided into cross-sectional, longitudinal, and single cross-sectional and multiple cross-sectionals are the part of cross-sectional research. Firstly, we have to study each and every research design. Let's start with the objectives first. What is the objective of research design? A good research design is that first rule of good research. You have to see that your design must be appropriate. You have to check that whether you want to go for the cross-sectional study or you want to go for the time series study. So you have to very crisp and clear regarding your research design. Knowledge of the needed research design allows advanced planning so that the project may be conducted in less time and typically at cost saving due to efficiencies gained in pre-planning. Obviously, you have to consider your time management with it. You have to consider your cost management in it, and your research should be very appropriate so that there must be less discrepancies involved. The main objective of research design are to gain background information and to develop a hypothesis. You want to check what do you want, why do you want to research the particular problem. You have to develop a hypothesis. Hypothesis is basically related with whether you want to check something or not. Basically that is hypothesis. Let's take an example here. I want to see whether COVID-19 impacted the lifestyle of the individuals or not. If it is yes, then it will be alternate, it will be H not. If it will be not, then it will be an alternate hypothesis. That means I am developing a hypothesis here. My hypothesis of a study develops upon this: if COVID-19 impacted the lifestyle of individuals in Amritsar or not. This is my hypothesis. To measure the state of a variable of interest, to follow the study, I then specifically see the variables which I want to require to do my study. To test the hypothesis, I have to see certain variables. I have to see certain variables and the relationship between the variables. For example, let's continue with the same example. Is COVID-19 impacted the lifestyle of the people or not? If I want to study this, I have to see the income of a person. I have to see the education level of a person. I have to see the family members of the person. I have to see the expenditure level of the person so that I came to know what kind of lifestyle they are actually living. Exploratory research design basically is an unstructured, informal manner. It is basically, it is not rigid in nature. It is very unstructured. It is very informal. Where do you actually explore? Where do you actually collect information as per your requirement? Like visiting competitor premises. It's a very informal way. Examine company sales, profit versus industry sales and profits, reading periodicals. All these are the examples of exploratory research design. A descriptive research design is little bit rigid and it involves set of methods and procedures that describe the marketing variables. You have to portray these variables by answering who, what, why, how. That means it consists of very formal questions like consumer attitude towards company services. You are conducting a survey where do you want to see what are the consumer perception regarding your product. That is a part of descriptive research design. Causal research design. Where do you want to see the cause and effect of the research design? If my company actually decrease the price of a product, whether it means it will increase the profit or not, it will check the cause and effect of the particular problem. That means you are actually following the causal relationship in it. The first one is exploratory research design. Exploratory research is usually conducted at the outset of research project. It is actually considered with the researcher who doesn't know about the problem, like COVID and the impact of lifestyle of the individual. This is the first time the study will be happen. There was no COVID-19 earlier, though there were symptoms of COVID-19 since 2020, but beyond that, there will be no COVID-19 earlier. So, the one who want to study the study related to COVID-19 has to see first what is the main problem. Researchers are not aware about the problem. Exploratory research provides insights into a comprehension of an issue or situation. It should draw definitive conclusions only with extreme caution. You have to see very in-depth analysis of a study if you actually want to follow exploratory. You see with the name itself, exploratory means to explore something, to find out something. Exploratory research, as a name implies, intends merely to explore the research portion and does not intend to offer final and conclusive solution to the existing problem. See, this is the work of conclusive analysis. Where do you want to actually come to a final result? But in exploratory research, you only explore certain factors. These type of research is usually conducted to study a problem that has not clearly defined yet. Conducted in order to determine the nature of the problem, exploratory research is not intended to provide any conclusive evidence. It will not provide you any final output. Only you will come to know certain factors, but help us to have a better understanding of a problem. For example, let's take an example. In the last 10 to 15 years, your company was doing very well. You were having very good profit. But similarly, because of COVID-19, your company impacted the most and your profit position was very low now, and now this is a new problem you have to check. You will not come to any certain conclusion if you follow this exploratory research method, but you will come to know certain factors that are actually impacting your company's main problem, that is lessening of the profit. When conducting exploratory research, the researcher ought to be willing to change his or her direction as the relevance of new data and new insights. This is not rigid, it is very flexible in nature. So as per your requirement, you actually change your direction. Exploratory research design does not aim to provide the final and the conclusive answer to the research questions, but merely explore the research topic with varying level of depth. It has noted that the exploratory research is initial research which forms the basis of more conclusive research. It can even help in determining the research design, sampling methodology, and data collection method. You have to actually note this point very, please note this point. Exploratory research is a very initial process. It can be a part of a conclusive research, but it itself is not come to any conclusion. It actually frame your research design. It actually see your sampling methodology. You actually follow some data collection method, but it is a part of exploratory research. Exploratory research tends to tackle new problem on which little or no previous research has been done. Unstructured interviews are the most popular primary data collection with exploratory studies. Let me show you something here right now. That's good. See, I am sharing a questionnaire with you. I have framed a questionnaire where I am on to study online class dilemma, a study of student perception towards the transition. Basically, it is a study of online perception of the students during the period of COVID-19. See, I adopted here, it is a demographic profile, which method you are choosing, duration of class is there, device using, online application is used. These are actually important. Please rate the following. 6 point, asking random question that I have actually framed 30 statements where I ask students whether they strongly disagree to strongly agree. They have to rate these statements as per their thinking, whether they strongly disagree with the statement, disagree with the statement, they are neutral about the statement, they agreed about the statement, and they strongly agreed about the statement. This is a type of exploratory research where I have actually seen number of statements. I will come to know about certain factors which are impacted most, but there will be no conclusion. This is a type of exploratory research. Exploratory research actually involves two types of data study. The first one is quantitative data and the other one is qualitative data. What is quantitative data? Quantitative data is concerned with when you want to generalize the information towards a large group of people. When you have very large group of people, you want to generalize their information, you use quantitative data. Quantitative research is expressed in numbers and graphs. It is used to confirm or test our theories and assumptions. This type of research can be used to establish generalized fact about the topic. As I have shared my questionnaire with you, I have thousands of students who is willing to answer my this questionnaire. That means I have very large group of people. I want to generalize their opinion. I want to see what they feel regarding this COVID-19 scenario. Then I will follow the method of quantitative research. Common quantitative methods include experiments, observations, survey, close-ended questions. Okay. The data produced are always numerical and they are analyzed using mathematical and statistical methods. If there are no number involved, it is not a quantitative research. I have already discussed it with you. If I am going to rate your opinions, I have to rate it on Likert scale and I have to use 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 continuum for that. That means I am involving some numeric number in that. The data should be in numeric form. The next is qualitative. Qualitative research is concerned with if you want to see the meaning and the context regarding the people and environment of a study. You actually consider this research when you want to understand the concept, any experiences, and any thoughts. You want to actually express someone's thoughts and experiences in words. Qualitative research is expressed in words. It is used to understand concepts, thoughts, or experiences. This research actually involves in-depth insight on the topics that are not well understood. Common qualitative methods includes interview with open-ended questions, observation described in the word, and literature review that explore concept and theories. For example, if a study want to conduct a survey regarding child trafficking, that means it is very sensitive topic. He wants to actually see the concept behind that particular thought. So he have to study the qualitative research method. Both methods have some strengths and the weaknesses, and they can be used complementary. In your one study, you can actually follow both these methods. You can see the mixed approach of these two methods, but these methods have some differences. Let's discuss that. Number first one is objective. Qualitative research consider the exploration in detail. You want to study any theory, you want to see any development, you actually sort of inductive approach. Inductive approach is related with when you have already established a set theory and you want to check that particular theory it's right or not. And quantitative research is concerned with usually theory verification based of deductive approach. You want to verify your study by establishing new ideas and perception to after that. That means here you are actually following deductive approach. Number of research units. Qualitative involves one to several, and quantitative research involves several dozen to several hundred. Where you have a large number of people, you actually follow quantitative research. Where you actually do your case studies, you follow qualitative research. Method of selecting research units. In qualitative research, because you have very few number of samples, you actually follow purposeful sampling. And for quantitative research, you follow representative sampling. Let's suppose I want to actually conduct a survey on your class only. This is my purpose. I want to study the MBA students' perception regarding online study. So here I am actually fulfilling my purpose. I want to study my particular research on particular class only. So I am following qualitative research only. And if I want to follow quantitative research, then I want to follow. I have large number of groups. Amritsar group of colleges consists of number of students, and if I want to study this large number of group, I actually want to follow the quantitative research method where I follow the representative sampling. That means I ask you from one student, uh, please fill the form, and I also convey my form to other persons also. That means I am following the approach of representative sampling here. Data collection. In qualitative, data is flexible. You can use multiple sources, and in quantitative, you have rigid, you only use only one source. This is very rigid. If you have selected some few number of groups, then you follow only that number of groups only. It is very rigid in nature. Data analysis. Rarely in qualitative research you never apply statistical technique. How can you actually, you only observe someone thoughts, you can't actually apply any statistical technique on that. But in quantitative research you apply statistical techniques. Next, for examples, these are the examples of exploratory research design. A study into the role of social network sites on as an effective marketing communication channel. You have actually seen in today's scenario, there are number of ads who pop up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as well. So that means when you want to see do these social networking sites actually serve the purpose of effective marketing channel, you explore, you use exploratory research design and investigation into the ways of improvement of quality of customer services within the hospitality sector in Amritsar, and assessment of the role of corporate social responsibility on consumer behavior in pharmaceutical industry in India, to identify and explore concepts and development of new products or form of marketing communications during a preliminary screening process such as new product development, in order to reduce a large number of possible projects to a smaller number of probable ones. You use exploratory research design to identify relevant or salient behavior patterns, beliefs, opinions, attitudes, motivations, and to develop structure of these constructs. You use exploratory research. When you actually want to explore something new, you use exploratory research design. Advantages of exploratory research, which is very flexible in nature, it is adaptable to change. You can actually go down for the very ground level work of this for your future studies. Exploratory research studies can have potentially save your time, and you use resources very well. Disadvantages of exploratory research: exploratory studies generate qualitative information, and interpretation of these information can be biased because you observe your data here. These type of studies usually make use of modest number of samples that may not be adequately represent the target population. Let's see, I want to study COVID-19 scenario on students. For that purpose, what will I do? I belong to the Amritsar group of colleges. Let me fill the students from the Amritsar group of colleges only itself, and I will mention that I have actually conducted a survey on the Punjab level. But this is not correct. That means I am using the data in a wrong manner. My target population is very low, but I am showing it in at a large scale. Finding of such type of studies are not usually useful in decision making in a practical level. Next, we are going to discuss methods of exploratory research. Exploratory research can be performed using a literature search. You have to see how many studies have actually followed your thinking process so that you review the related literature and find out the opinion, their experiences, and the focus group which they have followed. During the survey, exploratory research studies would not try to acquire a representative sample, but rather seek to interview those who are knowledgeable and who might be able to provide insight concerning the relationship among variables. In exploratory research, what you do, you do your survey, you acquire some representative sample here, you actually want to see the interview who are knowledgeable here. You don't want to establish any relationship among the variables, but you want to see how knowledgeable the interview is basically. Case studies is a part of the exploratory research in which you actually see we actually include contrasting situation or benchmarking against a company known for its excellence. Exploratory research may develop hypotheses, but it does not seek to test them. Exploratory research is characterized by its flexibility. What is case study? A case study is basically I want to only, let's suppose if I conduct a survey on only a missile group of college students, that means I have acquired a case study that is related with only the students of Amritsar group of colleges. This is a case study. And if I want to study the whole students that belongs to whole India or whole Punjab, then I'm not acquiring any case study method. Secondary data analysis, the process of searching for interpret existing information relevant to research topic. If you actually support your primary data with the secondary data, that means you are using some secondary data analysis. I once again clear to you, primary data is basically concerned with when you actually acquire information yourself, and secondary data is that when you use number of magazines, newspapers, data available at Neurus ministry side, that means you are using secondary data analysis. Experience services, when you actually follow the method of experience survey, you gather your information from the knowledgeable, from the relevant person. You are using exploratory method. Key informant technique, if you gather only information, that is part of a key informant technique. And if you acquire that usage of technology, you actually lead user survey method is you're using lead user survey method. Case analysis, when you actually see a little bit, you want to actually check your current problem to using only case method, case analysis. You are reviewing your process using you are reviewing your survey only this method, that is case analysis. Focus group, only I want to, as I quoted an example earlier also, I want to study MBA class only, that means I am targeting only focus group here. Whether I can you are my class, I can ask you any question, unstructured, structure. I can discuss with you only. I can observe your behavior only. That means I want to study on a focus group only. Problems are formulated clearly in exploratory research. My research question, my research problem has to be very quantified. What I want to do, it aims at clarifying the concept, gathering the explanation, gaining the insight knowledge, eliminating impractical ideas, and forming the hypothesis. Next is conclusive research. Conclusive research draws conclusion. I have already stated you, in exploratory research, you actually explore number of things, new things, but in conclusive research, you come with a conclusion, an answer is there. The result of the study can be generalized to the whole population. The category of conclusive research design informs that the embedded research techniques are fit to provide conclusive answer to research question as well as definite test of hypothesis. Again, in it, you actually develop a hypothesis, but you actually consider some techniques here like regression, correlation, growth rates, so that you can come to an conclusion. To fulfill this purpose, all conclusive studies ought to be representative of some large population. I want to study something related with customer perception toward my product. For that purpose, it is not necessary for me To go for whole India level, I can only target the customer of the Amritsar and fulfill my research objective. That means here I want to follow the conclusive research approach by only taking the sample from the target population only. It is worth noting that term conclusive as used here do not denote absolute certainty but high probability of truth. So I assume there must be truth behind that. If customer of Amritsar is saying one thing for my product, that means whole India will be say the same scenario for my product only. This is a consequence of using statistical tests in analysis that are admittedly not perfect but better than many other opinions for providing reliable knowledge. Here you use number of statistical techniques. These statistical techniques have cons and pros, but still you require them to have your reliable knowledge. Conclusive research is firstly includes descriptive research, that is basically concerned with when you want to study findings of a larger population. If the study sample is representative, a descriptive study is undertaken when the researcher wants to know the characteristic of certain groups. I have shown you the question, Anna. Let me show you it again. See, this is what is this column is consist of name. I want to ask a name of a person, the city from which he belonged, the state he actually lived in, his age, his sex, his or her class, in which class that particular student is, educational institute, address, category. All these are question related with descriptive statistics. All these question in this particular questionnaire, all these are related with the descriptive statistics only.